Today we'll be making our own platform jumper game similar to Super Mario. So this is not a tutorial. We will click the new project button right here, and I am going to call it Super Mario. I'm going to click code options and I'm going to do JavaScript only. Click create. All right, so a lot of this, the coding on this isn't too terribly difficult. The thing that will take you the longest is drawing the tile map. So what your game is actually going to look like. So I'm going to go to scene, and we want to find the block that says set tile map 2. And I'm going to put it right there on number 1 and put it on number 2. That's fine. All right, so over here on the left, I'm going to click on this shape right here. And with this is how we're going to draw our tile map where the game will take place. So we need to resize it to be not 16 by 16, but 50 by 16. Okay, that looks perfect. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw what I want my sprite to be able to jump on to get to the finish line. And I like using that block right there. I'm just going to have it go across there like that. And actually, you know what? I'm going to change 16, that's kind of tall, to 8. Okay, that looks better. All right, let's start over again. I'm going to click on the block looking tile right there. And now I'm going to draw where I want to lead my sprite to. Okay. Now I'll undo that one. Click the eraser. Okay, go back to my pencil, click on the blocks. And we'll make the end kind of tricky. And then, okay, so I did that. Now I'm going to put walls on these. And if you remember the wall tool, it looks like this. So this is going to make sure that my sprite doesn't go through it, but it makes it solid so that my sprite stays on top of it when it lands on it. Okay, that looks great. Excuse me. Okay, and I am just clicking on. Okay, perfect. Now what I need to do is I need to put a finish line. I know that there is a treasure chest within this dungeon. Maybe it's not in the dungeon. Yes, it is. It's on that very first window here, so I'm going to click on the treasure chest, and I'm going to put that right there at the end. All right, the other thing that we need to add is different tiles at the bottom that if my character, my sprite, lands on them, I want it to be game over. And I like miscellaneous. Is it here? There we go, the lava looking ones. So I'm going to click on the fire, the lava, and I'm going to put those all along the bottom. And if my character lands on that, it will be game over, lose. And we're going to do the same thing at the top, but we're going to do another tile. Let's see what forest has. Yeah, I'll do this first one. And so same thing, And what this allows us to do, I'm going to put all the way at the top, is that's a, click on the eraser. Let's get rid of those. That would make it too difficult. Click back on that, click on the pencil, so that a player can't just fly through at the top, has to jump on the platforms, the walls that we just drew. And I'm just going to make it a little bit more. There we go. Make it a little bit harder. Okay, that looks great. So let's see, we've got the platforms with walls, we've got the finish line, treasure chest, we've got the lava at the bottom, we've got the tree looking things up at the top there. I think that looks pretty darn good. Okay, so all that work is really just one line of code here, and when you click on this you can see what you did. Okay, let's create our sprite, our main character. So I'm going to click on, actually I'm going to put my cursor here at the end. I'm going to click return. I'm going to go to sprites, and I'm going to go up to the very top where it says create, and I'm just going to drag that right there. And all these little dots, that's going to represent the code for our sprite, what it ends up looking like. So I'm going to click on the art palette here. I could draw it, or we can choose a character that's already here. I kind of like this guy because he reminds me of Mario. Let's see, and I am going to choose him where he looks like that. Perfect, so it looks like he's going to the right. When I click start, okay, he's there. Do you see when we click refresh how he's not falling down? We want to have gravity in our game. So to do that, I'm going to put my cursor here at the end. I'm going to click return. It's easier to just type it in than to find it over here on the left. So I'm going to type in my sprite dot AY, and AY stands for the acceleration of Y. And we're going to say equals 250. And let's see what that does. There we go. Now it brought our player down to the bottom. So that's our gravity. And do you see how it's not starting over here on the left? I want it to start all the way at the bottom. So I'm going to put my cursor over here at the end, click return, and I am going to go to sprites, and I'm going to grab the third block that says set my sprite position to, and I'm going to put it right there on 22. Let's see, where does that put us? That puts us a little too far over there. So our X, let's try 10, and let's see what happens. Okay, that looks perfect, and it put us right there on top of the block on the wall where our character doesn't go through. Okay, that looks great. And let's see, we want to control our sprite with the controller, with the arrow buttons here. So I'm going to click on controller, and I'm going to grab move sprite with buttons, and I'm going to put it right there underneath where it says null. I'm going to delete that, and I need to type in the name of my sprite. So I called my sprite my sprite, and it pops up when I do that. Awesome. So now, okay, so I can go up and down. I can go left and right. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to add some more code that when I press my A button, I want it to be able to jump as well. Actually, a little bit higher than when I just press my up button like that. So I'm going to put my cursor here. I'm going to click return. I'm going to go to controller, and I'm going to get the second one, run code on button event, and I'm going to put that right there. So controller.a on event. Okay, that looks great. That's what we want to press, our A button. I'm going to put my cursor there on the open curly bracket and click return. And it's going to get a little confusing. We're going to go in if statement. So I'm going to go logic. If, and I'm going to put it right there on 25. And it says if true. We've got this extra space here on 25. That's okay. Where it says true, I'm going to delete that. And what we want to say is if my sprite is touching one of the blocks there, so one of the walls, we are going to go to scene, and it is this one is my sprite hitting wall direction. So I'm going to put that right inside those parentheses next to my if statement. So if my sprite, so my character is hitting a tile, collision direction, so where's it touching? We don't want to say the left, we want to say the bottom. So if the bottom of my sprite is on top of a wall, we want to have my sprite be able to jump. So I'm going to go to sprites, and I'm going to go to the very top, and I'm going to grab the second one that says set my sprite velocity to, and I'm going to put it right there underneath my if statement. It's got an extra block, that's okay. So my sprite.set velocity, I'm going to change 50 to 0, and this 50 to negative 200. Okay, let's click play. When I click my A button, it jumps up. Perfect. Awesome. I'm going to put my cursor here at the very bottom outside the close curly bracket and the close parenthesis and click return. And let's see, we want right now when my sprite goes off the screen, I don't see it anymore. So I'm going to go to scene, and I'm going to find the one that says camera follow my sprite, and I'm going to put it right underneath there. And where it says null, I need to delete that, and I need to type in the name of my sprite, which is called my sprite. Perfect. Put my cursor at the end, click return. And now what we want to do is we're going to say if our sprite touches the treasure chest, we want to say game over win. So I'm going to go to scene, and I'm going to scroll down to run code on sprite of kind overlaps at location. So it's underneath the tile maps header. And I'm going to grab this one, and I'm going to put it right underneath. So scene.onOverlap tile. Do you see how it popped up with an art canvas? I'm going to click on that art canvas, and I'm going to go to gallery. So I need to find the picture of my treasure chest, or your finish line, whatever you chose for your finish line. For me, it was a treasure chest. So I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and I'm going to find the picture of my treasure chest and click done. Perfect. And then here on this open curly bracket, I'm going to click return. And then underneath, I need to say game over. So I'm going to go to game, and I'm going to go all the way to the top. And I'm going to go to game over. I'm going to grab game over true. And I'm going to put it right there. So now, whenever our player gets to the treasure chest, it should say game over win. So let's try it. We've not coded it with our... Perfect. So it got to the treasure chest, and it said you win. Okay, that looks great. Give myself a space here so it's easier to read. Okay, now I'm going to put my cursor here at the very end. I'm going to click return. And we're going to do that same thing that we just did where we went to scene. We went to tile maps, and we grabbed the run code on sprite of kind overlaps tile at location. And this time we want to do it for the lava at the bottom of the fire. So I'm going to click on the art canvas. I'm going to go to gallery. I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom. And I want to find the one that looks like my lava, which is that first one that I selected. Okay. And now this time, I'm going to go to game, and we're going to go to game over true, and I'm going to put it right underneath there. And this time where it says true, we want it to be false. So that would mean game over, you lose. Okay, let's try that. So my character goes there. And as soon as he touched the lava, it says game over. Perfect, we did that right. Now we want to do the same thing for the trees at the top. So put my cursor here at the very end, click return. I'm going to go to scene. I'm going to scroll down to that same block that we've been using, run code on sprite of kind overlaps tile at location. I'm going to put it at the very bottom. I'm going to click on my art palette, and this time we want to find the picture that you put at the very top. So for me, it was the trees, the bush looking thing. So I'm going to scroll down, and I know that I chose this first one that looks like that. Click done. Okay. I am going to go to game. I'm going to find the one that says game over true. Grab that and put it inside the curly bracket there. And where it says true, I want it to say false. Okay. Let's click run. Oh, so now we've got a problem because it's spawning my sprite up here. And as soon as it hits those trees, it's saying game over. So where this says 0, we need to change my sprite.set position, because right now it's spawning up here, and as soon as it hits those trees, it's saying game over. So it works, but now we need to change where we are starting our sprite off at. So why don't we change this 0? Why don't we change that to 100? Let's see what happens. Oh, perfect. So then it started there. Oh, not very good. Okay, it jumps. And then if I jump up and I hit those trees, it's game over. Okay, let's see if I can beat my game. Ooh, that's tricky. Oh no,